Gold Rush fans, this isn't just another mining mishap. This is the story of how two of the biggest names in the show's history, Tony Beets and his son Mike, went from reality TV royalty to convicted criminals serving life behind bars. Tony Beets and Mike Beets, stars of Discovery Channel's Gold Rush, have been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The shocking verdict was delivered in a packed courtroom in Yukon Territory. Fans and the mining community alike were stunned as one of the most infamous mining families was found guilty on multiple serious charges. Tony and Mike were convicted of environmental violations, claim jumping, fraudulent gold reporting, and conspiracy tied to their Paradise Hill operation. Once a symbol of success on reality TV, the site is now described as the headquarters of a criminal empire. The investigation began when rival miner Parker Schnabel noticed strange practices while working nearby. His report to authorities triggered what became one of the largest mining-related criminal probes in Canadian history. Investigators discovered environmental violations on a scale never before seen in the Klondike. Tony expects a lot from himself, so he expects it from everybody else. That's just how it is. The prosecution stated these were not oversights, but deliberate efforts to dodge environmental laws. Prosecutor Catherine White described a strategy where regulations were ignored to maximize profits. These weren't corner cuts. They were systemic crimes carried out over years. Judge Robert Main delivered the sentence with grave finality. He cited overwhelming evidence, the defendants' complete lack of remorse, and the long-term damage they inflicted. The courtroom sat in silence as both men were sentenced to life in prison. Tony, 75, stood stoically while his son, Mike, 35, appeared visibly shaken. Mike had been increasingly involved in the operation's daily management in recent seasons, often acting as the face of the business on and off camera. The trial lasted 11 weeks. Familiar faces from Gold Rush were called to the stand, turning a reality show into a high-profile legal drama. Former crew members revealed how they were ordered to perform illegal actions once the cameras were turned off. These included improper disposal of waste and unregulated mining activities. Rick Ness testified about the so-called dual mining strategy where legal methods were filmed and destructive ones done off camera. He recalled Tony saying, "There's television mining and there's real mining." According to Ness, everyone on the crew understood which actions could never be filmed and knew the consequences of revealing them. One of the most damaging testimonies came from Tony's wife, Minnie Beets. As the family's longtime bookkeeper, she testified against her husband and son in exchange for immunity. She presented financial records that proved gold was being underreported and sold through black market channels. Her cooperation shocked many and split the Beets family. Policemen advocates on the doses in the excavators. "I don't have to be here. With all these years working together, you kind of think together too, you know." Tony's daughters, Monica and Bianca, supported their mother, but were disturbed by the evidence presented. They left the courthouse through a private exit and declined to comment publicly. Parker Schnabel testified over 3 days explaining the suspicious activities he observed. He remembered seeing water runoff filled with contaminants like mercury flowing onto his claim in the middle of the night. He said that despite respecting Tony as a mentor, he felt morally obligated to report what he saw. His test results confirmed the presence of illegal chemicals. Discovery Channel crew were also called to testify. Some producers claimed ignorance. Others admitted they had suspicions but didn't report anything for fear of jeopardizing the show. Executive producer Christo Doyle explained that only 15% of mining operations are filmed. The rest, he said, was based on trust in the miner's integrity. The case raised questions about reality TV's role in overlooking unethical or illegal behavior for entertainment and profit. Discovery Channel released a statement denying knowledge of any wrongdoing. The company said it was shocked by the outcome. Fred Lewis, another cast member, testified about a drunken conversation with Tony, where Tony bragged about evading environmental rules. Lewis thought it was just tough talk until the scale of the crimes came out. Prosecutors showed satellite images proving that rivers were diverted and wetlands destroyed. Scientists confirmed mercury contamination levels up to 200 times above legal limits. Todd Hoffman, a former star on the show, was called as a character witness by the defense. But this move backfired when prosecutors highlighted past conflicts between Hoffman and Tony. Hoffman admitted Tony once mocked his more rule-abiding methods, calling his operation amateur. "What was your first impression, Tony, when you met him on that day?" "Well, I mean, in the beginning, Sal and Denny, they had a great idea and look what came from it eventually. However, Todd, you got to give him credit for trying." In hindsight, Hoffman said maybe that criticism stemmed from him playing by the rules. The prosecution then introduced evidence of illegal mining on land the Beats didn't own. Dave Turin testified about discovering missing gold in tested areas and later realizing his claims were secretly mined. Turin said certain zones mysteriously yielded no gold despite promising test results. Now he understands it has already been extracted by someone else. The Beats lawyer Jonathan Blackwood argued that the prosecution was influenced by Tony's brash TV persona. He claimed the charges were fueled by envy and dramatized reality TV footage. But this argument collapsed when the court heard secretly recorded conversations between Tony and Mike, planning to hide illegal mercury use during periods when inspectors were away. One clip showed Tony telling Mike when and how to deploy mercury safely without attracting attention. This destroyed any remaining credibility in the defense's case. Jurors later spoke anonymously. One juror said the evidence clearly pointed to intentional crimes, not misunderstandings. Another juror who worked in mining stated the Beats operation was structured entirely to bypass environmental safeguards and maximize profits. The fallout in Yukon has been massive. Some locals praised the verdict as justice. Others worried about the damage to tourism in the region's reputation. Dawson City resident Marion Clark acknowledged Tony helped bring attention to the Klondike, but said responsible mining must be the new standard. Authorities have begun assessing the Beats mining claims and equipment. Much of it may be liquidated to fund environmental cleanup efforts. Discovery Channel confirmed Gold Rush will continue without the Beats family, but insiders doubt the show will be the same. Chris Dumit, a fan favorite on the show, said the verdict left no winners. He lamented the environmental damage and the betrayal of trust. As officers escorted Tony and Mike from the courtroom, Tony turned to the gallery and said, "The Viking has fallen." Then he disappeared behind prison doors, leaving his empire behind. Clips from past seasons now look drastically different in light of the trial. Once proud moments of triumph are being reframed as acts of deception. Environmental groups have started using Gold Rush footage in educational campaigns to highlight why mining regulations matter. The case has pushed the television industry into reflection. Networks are considering ways to monitor off-camera activities in shows involving extraction or high-risk operations. Hey, what? You made an agreement with the guy, right? So, honor it. Be a nice neighbor. That's it. But they're going to say it's going to be that nice. Hey, you made the agreement. Honor it. Let it be good. Tony's other children, Kevin and Monica Beats, were not charged. Evidence showed they were not part of the illegal decision-making. In a joint statement, they said they were shocked and requested privacy while deciding on their futures. The Yukon government has promised stricter inspections for all mining operations. Discovery Channel has also appointed compliance officers to stay on site year-round. Tony and Mike's life sentences are a historic moment in reality TV and mining history. They also serve as a chilling reminder that fame is not immunity. For years, Tony Beats called himself king of the Klondike. Now he's just prisoner number 88675309. His empire of dirt washed away by justice he thought he could outrun. In the aftermath of the sentencing, the Canadian government's environmental agencies began working with local authorities to assess the full extent of damage. Specialists from multiple provinces were brought in to evaluate mercury levels, soil erosion, and contaminated water tables spanning several kilometers of Yukon wilderness. According to court documents, some of the affected waterways had been traditional spawning grounds for native fish species, now facing possible extinction in those zones. Experts estimated it would take decades and millions of dollars to begin meaningful restoration. Meanwhile, the financial trail uncovered by Mini Beats extended internationally. So, I mean that we're looking at $4.5 million. That's a lot of money, right? I know that's a lot of money. I don't see no way out without doing anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, you're taking a really big risk as well. We are. Right. We don't think we've ever taken a big risk like this. No, it's getting serious, man. Prosecutors stated that proceeds from unreported gold sales had moved through offshore accounts and black market buyers in at least 3 countries. While the criminal case closed in Yukon, federal and international investigations are reportedly ongoing. Back on the Discovery Channel side, executive producer Christo Doyle admitted under cross-examination that several cast and crew members had raised informal concerns over the years. However, none were documented formally and no steps were taken to investigate further. Doyle acknowledged that the production team benefited financially from the beat's high drama narrative and aggressive tactics, saying Tony made great television. He admitted there were no mechanisms to audit or verify what occurred when the cameras weren't present. In court, several former crew members echoed that sentiment. Some expressed regret for not speaking up sooner. Others described an atmosphere where fear of retribution or job loss kept them silent. Industry insiders now worry that this case may trigger a domino effect. Other reality shows centered around dangerous or unregulated industries are reportedly facing internal audits, legal reviews, and sponsor backlash. As the mining season approaches, one thing is certain: the world of Gold Rush will never be the same again.